Hi guys, so welcome to my channel. So yes, I'm new to YouTube, so I'm gonna need all pointers and tips and things like that that would be helpful. I've tried to do YouTube in the past, but the time just wasn't on my side. But now I figure, what better time than to do it than now, considering what my channel is about. So I'm doing a channel about autism. As you'll begin to notice, I do have a son that has been diagnosed with autism, and I guess what my thought is with this channel is just to kind of bring more awareness. Obviously, this is a new experience for me as a mom with a kid with autism, and I've obviously watched other, moms with their channels and how their experience is. But I just want to bring more awareness, just given my own personal experience, and hopefully I'm able to get tips and advice from moms or just from anybody else that's knows someone that has autism or is even a parent to a child that's autistic. So maybe I guess I'll start with myself, introducing myself since I am new to the channel, or new to YouTube if I should say. So my name is Latanya. So I actually work as a mental health clinician. I've been doing it for about maybe 8 years or so. Out of the 8 years, the majority of my time I worked with kids. So I was used to working with kids like in a pediatric center or like in early intervention, or meeting them at home, doing services at home. So I'm very familiar with seeing certain signs, if you will, which I think made it a little bit easier in my case in terms of just kind of figuring out those red flags for my son and kind of saying, something doesn't seem right with him. Let's get him evaluated. So that's my background. And like I said, I think for me is just more so the awareness piece. And I think as I'm experiencing it through my own lens, I'm realizing that there's so much that people need to be aware of or be knowledgeable when it comes to autism. Autism is presented in so many different ways. And I think there's no, one shoe fits all type of thing. And I think it's just amazing me, not only from a person who comes from a mental health background, but again, also as a parent that has a kid with autism. It's just amazing me how there's just so much more that I feel like people need to know about that diagnosis. So I'm hopeful that within this channel, I can just open up certain doors or just kind of, like I said, get the feedback in terms of what was helpful to some, what wasn't helpful to others, and then also teach me. Oh my gosh, definitely teach me. So I'm hopeful that that's what my channel will bring. And yeah, we'll just cross our fingers on that. So like I said, I have a little slideshow of Jair that I'll show in a few. But like I said, at least I noticed the signs a little after a year, maybe a year and a half. Like I said, he was meeting his milestones, but there were just certain things that weren't quite, it's like one of those, that doesn't seem right. And I said, Tanya, follow your gut. You know this. You've seen kiddos like this. It doesn't hurt to get him tested, because if he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. And if he does, it's even better because we can catch it early. So we did do that, and you'll see the slideshow. You'll see different, clips of him. But again, it was more so, my husband was in denial, and it was more like, Tanya, just follow your gut, follow your gut. So like I said, I did do that, and he did get the diagnosis shy of his second birthday. And he's progressed so much, and I cannot wait to kind of share my journey with you. So yeah, let's just get into it. Like I said, I have a clip of him just to kind of give you a snapshot of what he is doing now, and then kind of the journey in terms of how, we came to realize, his diagnosis and realize him as a person. Forgive me, I do know at the end of the video clip, I think I mentioned occupational therapy twice. I think I said OT and occupational, which is the same thing. So forgive me for that, but I'm like, oh, this video came out really good, and I do not want to edit it again. So I definitely commend you YouTubers for kind of doing your content. It is very time consuming. It does take up a lot of time and just editing, and again, there's nothing wrong with that, but like I said, you want to make sure that you have the information correct. So like I said, he does have APA services. They come 4 days a week, and they come for 3 hours. Then he has speech for once a week for an hour, and then he also has OT, who also comes once a week for an hour. So I think at that particular, with that setup, I think that's, I'm pretty comfortable with that. It is very much time consuming, which is another reason why I want to pick, the parent's brain in terms of how do you guys manage, with working and juggling with, other kids if you have other kids, squeezing in these services. And then I also like to take home, homework, if you will, in terms of what he's learned in session to kind of continue with that so he doesn't lose anything. So it's like, how do you guys do that? What has been helpful for you? Um, do you guys have outside support? So again, like I said, I'm really hoping that this channel can be also a help, or support for me as well. But then I'm also curious to figure out, the struggles that I have. Do you guys have these struggles? And if you do, what was helpful for you or what has been helpful for you? So with further ado, like I said, I'll definitely get into the sauce. The clip of Jair. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Yeah, let's begin. So this is baby Jair. Jair was always happy a baby. No matter who he was around, he was always smiling, always happy. We even made a joke about his passport picture that even his passport picture, he was smiling and didn't take no time or no effort to do that. And that's almost impossible to do. But yeah, he was always a happy baby. He met all of his milestones pretty on time, walking and crawling, sitting up, introducing to new foods, things like that. And it wasn't until after his first birthday that I began to notice different things in him that were kind of like, I was very observant. More so after, his brother was born, his baby brother was born. He didn't really interact with his brother. He wasn't as curious about his brother as you would normally see, kids his age do. He liked to play by himself. He liked to do things, on his own. Here, he's maybe a year and a half, a little over, and we noticed that he would go from room to room and just stare at ceiling fans. He would, look, I'm sorry, not the fan, but the light. He would look at the light and he would just, spin in circles and go from room to room, just staring at the light. And again, those are things you don't really notice in, little kiddos like that, at least in that manner. But again, we noticed that it became more of a habit for him as the months began, and it was more so like, again, these things are not quite right. We also noticed after you put a mirror in front of him, he wouldn't look at himself in the mirror. We call his name, he wouldn't look at us, or he wouldn't look at anyone that was calling his name. Again, little things that we began to notice that was, typical in a kid at his age. He just wasn't quite meeting those things. And then at that point, I figured, all right, I think it doesn't hurt to kind of get him evaluated. We did notice that he loved the water, and water was more of a calming thing for him. So if he was, when we realize now, overstimulated, the water seemed to calm him. We introduced him to like swimming lessons and swimming classes, and he just loved it. He loved to be in the water. So we found that to be a very helpful thing for us. Things also that kind of like you would assume build your adrenaline, if you will. So here he is on the swing, and just the that adrenaline rush of being pushed back and forth on the swing was exciting for him. So things like that is something that he always would like to do. He was a sensory kid. He didn't like shoes on his feet. So putting shoes, or even socks for that matter, it was super hard for him. Here he is, a little bit older, shimmering, as you can probably see the way he's positioning his hands. He would, do the jumping or the high-pitched squealing. And this became more of the norm for Jair as the months began to progress. We try to introduce him to different things. We would bring him to like an outing. Here he's like at an indoor outing. He didn't really like it much. This became like his favorite spot, the window. When he was overstimulated, he would go straight to the window to kind of calm himself down. So like I said, maybe a year and maybe 6 or 7 months, we did get him evaluated, and he did present with autism, and he got the diagnosis. They gave him the level 2, which requires considerable support. And this is Jair now, a little over 2 years old, still jumping, still, lively, still a happy kid. He's receiving, ABA services now, speech, OT, and occupational. So, we're working on him, meeting milestones and just, getting to know Jair. So, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the little slideshow that I put together for Jair. And like I said, I'm very eager in you guys meeting him. And like I said, picking your brain to figure out what has been helpful. I think my takeaway from all this is just safety. Like I said, he does the swimming classes because he loves water, and I also think it's helpful for him to have that safety anyways. But things like, so for example, he hasn't been diagnosed with pica, but he eats non-food items. So he has a bed that's made out of wood, and we're noticing that he's chewing off the outlining of the bed. he'll pick up like dog food and he'll eat, like literally eat the dog food. Or he'll pick up little specks that you would never notice to, you know, the natural eye, and he'll pick them up around the floor. So things like that. It's like, so it's, I feel like I'm like always a shadow. I'm following behind him because I'm always nervous that, you know, he's gonna pick up something and choke, or it's gonna cause harm to him. And those are like the biggest things. Also, sensory things like toothbrushing. You know, I haven't been able to kind of be successful in that, and we try our best to kind of make sure he incorporates that in his routine. But again, that's also a challenge. So again, as I tend to kind of do these videos, I'm hopeful that I'm able to kind of get feedback. So my goal is to kind of do a video once a week. So I will be posting another one next week, and hopes that I'll get some type of feedback from you guys with the information that I've given you today. And then we'll kind of keep going. And I'm really excited for you guys to follow us along this journey. Jair has learned so much from the ABA services, or all the services for that matter, within the last, it's been less than a year. I think he started ABA back in October of last year, so it hasn't even been a year, and he's learned so much. You know, more, or my turn, or he does ayuda, or help. So yeah, I'm very eager, and you guys kind of sharing this journey with us. And yeah, I'm hopeful. You know, I'm welcome to the YouTube channel, and you know, stay tuned for more.